Hello everyone. If you probably remember, I made a iceberg about my TikTok account a couple months ago. Well, today I decided to remake that, and I'll show you in 3, 2, 1. Here is the iceberg. If you don't know what an iceberg is, an iceberg talks about a certain topic. That can be anything. At the top of the iceberg is stuff that is most known, and at the bottom it gets really obscure and sometimes creepy. We'll get into the first entry with the Needles Division. The Needles Division is a railway where Jackson and his friends work on. The railway has been around for multiple years, since the late 1800s, and it's now here in current day. The railway is also known the land of streamliners from how much streamliners on the railway. There's Dreyfus, Christina and Norman, the FF3 family, possibly Challenger, and Topica Thunder. There's a lot of them on the railway, trust me. So, yeah, there's nothing really much I have else to talk about, but let's move on to the next entry. The Sodor Crash series. The Sodor Crash series is a series of, episodes taking place on Sodor and the game Toby Testing Grounds Reloaded. I would film episodes, just about the engines crashing into each other. There are a total of 29 or 28 episodes. There will be epilogue soon, and that's pretty much it for the Sodor Crash series. The Heaven Plan. Basically, what the Heaven Plan is a group of 3 people, which are known as Jotaro, Onion, and Retrowave, go on a journey where Jotaro and Onion help Retrowave. They help him get made in heaven, also known as the third evolvement of Retrowave's stand. The Heaven Plan is currently cancelled as of now, because just ignore my cat. She's in heat. She's just making random noises, whatever. Basically, the Heaven Plan is cancelled as of now because my friends haven't been answering my calls. They've been really busy as of now, and basically, I just canceled the Heaven Plan for now, at least. For now, I'll probably come back in the next 2 years when I feel ready to record again or something. Now we move on to the second section of the iceberg, which is also known as the tip of the iceberg, and it contains kind of a lot of stuff here, so let's get ready. We are starting really strong off here, my ladies and gentlemen, and my non-binary pals. We're starting off with the Playing Piggy series. The Playing Piggy series is a series where, I'd play the formerly hit Roblox game called Piggy. Pretty much nothing else to say, but there's a total of 31 episodes. I'm kind of planning to bring it back. If I do bring it back, I'll definitely include a lot of, memes. It'll be more flashy, also, the rule for Playing Piggy is that I'll play book 1 for the first portion of the episode, and if I die, I'll play book 2, that's just basically it. On to the next entry. The FF3 family and others. For the FF3 family, Fennis is the oldest, Bianca is the second oldest, Connor is the third oldest, Jackson is the fourth oldest, and Janelle is the youngest out of the 5. For the GS4 family, Christina is the current oldest, and Norman is the youngest. For the P40 family, Malcolm is the older one, and Danielle is the younger one. And this applies to Dreyfus as well. Dreyfus is the older one, and Connor, from Thomas and Friends, right? He's the younger one, because they're both New York Central J3 Hudson Streamliners. YouTube exclusive Sodor Crash series episodes. This entry talks about YouTube exclusive episodes for the Sodor Crash series that were released on my YouTube channel. There are only 3 current episodes that are on my YouTube channel, which is named Jackson Industries. That's basically it. A fucking car just screeched outside, Anyways, on to the next entry. The Union Express. The Union Express is something that has been passed down for the FEF3 family's generations. First Fennance pulled it, and then Connor pulled it, and then Jackson pulled it, and he'll pass it down to Janelle when he gets old. Also, just ignore the sounds in the background. My cats are just playing. The only family member that hasn't pulled the Union Express is Bianca, because she wasn't on the Needles Division at the time. So yeah, that's just basically it. On to the next entry. Now let's talk about my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. It's in my bio. You can click on the word YouTube. It instantly takes you to my profile. The name of my YouTube channel is Jackson Industries, and I have 23 subscribers and multiple videos on there that you'll probably like. Yeah. So there's not really much to say. I also have my first animation on there, which leads us to our next topic. So heads up before our next topic, I've changed the iceberg a little bit. As you can see, there are 2 new entries at the bottom of the iceberg. Also my avatar has changed. So yeah, you'll notice that in the recordings. So yeah, that was just a little quick heads up. Let's continue with the iceberg. My stick nods animations. So this entry on the iceberg talks about my animations that I've made over like 2 years, I think. There's a total of 71 of them, I think. I did a huge recount just recently, and I came up with 71 total animations. My animation style has changed over, the time that I've made animations. And I think there's an entry on this iceberg that actually talks about the old version of my animations. So yeah, on to the next entry on this iceberg. Now we move on to level 3 of the iceberg, also known as Shallow Waters. The Big Map. The Big Map is my only and currently only running RL Scale sandbox map. Its main line only curves. I don't know really what to say. It has multiple branch lines, multiple engine sheds and stuff like that. I've built the map like 2 years ago and I'm still working on it. It will be eventually replaced by the Needles Division map whenever I decide to make that. I haven't started working on it yet, but soon I might work on it. Anyways, on to the next entry. My most popular video. My most popular video on TikTok has reached over like 2,000 views, I think, and it will be played on screen in 3, 2, 1.
Do you think this guy had a glow up or a glow down?
Glow up.
Do you want to see what he looks like right now?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my most popular video on TikTok. It has 2,665 views as of now. Probably not gonna get any more. Yeah. On to the next entry. Previous icebergs. This entry talks about, previous icebergs that were on my TikTok account. I made a Piggy iceberg and the former iceberg that was about this one. Well, just the previous version of this iceberg. Let's just put it that. Let's just put it that way. Anyways, on to the next entry on this iceberg. Jiff and his friends. This entry talks about my own fan-made series, about Thomas Tank Engine and friends. And the main character is Jiff, a green E2. He's Thomas's younger brother. He's actually made an appearance in the Solar Crash series. And yeah, that's it. On to the next entry. The unofficial Toby Testing Grounds Discord server. This entry talks about a Discord server I made for the game, which is dead by now. Toby Testing Grounds and Toby Testing Grounds Reloaded. I can't remember if I closed the Discord server or not, but I did promote it in one of my videos, and I made a community post about it on my YouTube channel. So, yeah. on to the next entry. We are now reaching the 4th level of the iceberg, also known as Deep Waters. We will get onto our first entry right now, which is Next Spots in the Backrooms. Next Spots in the Backrooms is a cancelled Roblox game that I made. I guess you can guess what the game is about based off of the title, which is Next Spots in the Backrooms. There are 12 levels to the game, and you know, the next spots are on different levels, you know. Level 0 is just the regular back rooms. Level 1, also known as the Metal Labyrinth, is just a metal maze. Level 2 is the hospital. Level 3 is the warehouse. Level 4 is Sandwich Chase. Level 5 is the Reversed Hospital, which is just a more dangerous level. Level 2. Level 6, also known as the School Hallways. Level 7, called the Snowy Forest. Level 8, which is the Apartments. Level 9 is the City. Level 10 is the Basement. Level 11 is Pillory Heaven, and level 12 is the finale and the end of the game. And there are multiple different next spots on different levels, but as I said, this game is cancelled and will never be made. You can see what level 0 would have looked like. It was in a video that I made. I'll show you in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so that's it for this entry. On to the next one. The Battle for $1 Trillion. Not to be confused with the actual one. This entry talks about a cancelled object show that I made in like 2021, I think, or 2020. I'm not really sure. But I cancelled it after 4 episodes. These were live action paper cutouts that I made myself. There were 2 teams, and yeah. The host was Phone Guy, not to be confused with Me Phone 4 from Anam Insanity and Nintendo Switch. Yeah. I don't know if I want to bring it back or not. I've been considering it. I'll make the episodes on Flippy Clip or whatnot, you know. I'm planning on bringing it back. So yeah. Notable contestants are Paper, Blender, Toxic Waste Canister, Gas Canister, you know, the whole shebang. And yeah, that's it. On to the next entry of this iceberg. Tom Toys Land content. This entry talks about videos that I made in the old Thomas and Friends game, Tom Toys Land. I made multiple meme videos and a video that dates back to the Soul Crash series, or just basically it's a crash video. It has to do with duck and some trucks, you know, and yeah, that's it for this entry. Also, before we move on to the next one, I just wanted to say that, like, I don't know if this is a glitch or not, but like, I was pulling a passenger train in one of my videos, right? And then, like, when going over like a switch, the switch just randomly like went back to its normal position and my train derailed, even though I did not even click on the switch whatsoever. So yeah, on to our next entry now. Thomas and Ryan skits. This entry talks about in real life skits that I made with 2 toys. I think it's an early or late, like a I don't know, like a early-ish type of Tommy Thomas and a Trackmaster 2 Ryan. Yeah, I just made in real life skits with them. Those are really old. Like, I made them in like early 2020. Yeah, so they're really old right now. They're on like the bottom part of my TikTok account. If you scroll all the way down, you know, they'll be there. You know, they're also very cringe too. So yeah. Anyways, on to Bear 5, I think, or yeah, just on to the next level. The original versions of the 9462 Crash and the Victorstown TUGS Attack. What this entry is telling you is that in the Soto Crash series, there were 2 episodes. The 9462 Crash episode, where 9462 was carrying a freight train to Baron Furness, and he went over the suspension bridge, and midway through going, the bridge collapsed and his train fell off. No one was hurt. Yeah, but the same can't be said for the Vickerstown attack. Jeffrey, which worked for PPE5, which is the most known and famous criminal organization on Sodor. He basically became a bomber and basically caused a attack on Vickerstown Station when he stuffed a bomb into his duffel bag, and he basically blew up the whole station. Yeah. That killed multiple people, and it was a very devastating event on Sodor, you know. Yeah, it was just very terrible. Well, for the context of this, there were there were original versions of the episode, but they got their sounds muted on TikTok when I first uploaded both videos. Both of them got their audio removed. Seemingly, I don't know why, but like seemingly for no reason. Yeah, so that's the end of this entry, and we'll move on to the next one. The reason behind Jackson's red eye. If you take a look at my original character named Jackson, he has a messed up eye on his right eye, you know. The reason behind that is because it's just a building error. They messed up his eye when he was being built. So yeah. That's all that history. On to the next entry. This next one is a really big one. It's a really big one. Well, this talks about the Needles Division timeline. Let's go. So, the timeline of the Needles Division starts in 1853. In the late 1800s, the railway was horse work, which means that horses would take like small railway carts and, you know, make deliveries and shit with them. And in 1879, the first engine was brought in, that being Cyril. Cyril was the #1 engine on the railway, and he still keeps the number to this day. In 1901, the second engine was brought in, that being Hank. Him and Hank worked through World War I, you know, carrying troop trains and stuff like that. Basically what would just happen on a railway during a war. Both of them worked together day and night, you know. Nothing was stopping them. But during World War I, Hank was shot at by some, not really enemy troops, but like some people who were supporting the enemy troops. And like while he was bringing a passenger train home, he was shot at, and he did manage to get the train home, but that would mean he needed to get repaired. So Cyril took on duties until the war ended. So this period, which is like the early 30s or something. So during this period, a lot of new engines were brought onto the railway, like Cyril, Charles, and so on. In 1944, two more engines were brought on, with that being Friends and Connor. And this is where World War II comes to an end. Onto some more events, you know. So in the early 60s, Jackson was actually built. So yeah. On his first day, though, he did have an accident. This was actually referenced in a previous video. Jackson was shunting some trucks, and the trucks decided to pull a prank on him by, you know, well, not really pull a prank, but just they were being mean, saying hurtful stuff to him. And Jackson decided to get back at them by crashing them into the back of the main engine shed. This was referenced in a previous video, as I said. And friends came in with the Union Express and crashed right into the debris and rubble and stuff like that. So yeah, he needed to be repaired, and Kanno needed to take over the Union Express for that time. So yeah. this period, more engines were brought on. For example, like Stevenson, Spencer, Patricia, and so on. The railway needed its own shunter, so they got Josh. So yeah, during like the early 90s or something, Malcolm and Daniela were brought on. Not really Daniela, but she was sent to work in Canada on the Via Rail. You know, they have P40s on Via Rail. I'm not sure if it's P42s or something, but yeah. So Daniela was working on the Via Rail, but then she was eventually saved from being scrapped in Canada, and she was brought back to the States, where she would reunite with Malcolm and stuff. So yeah. The railway was getting more busier and busier, so they needed a strong engine from Mexico to actually take on freight work. And so they brought on Alejandro. A couple years later, they would bring in his younger brother, which is Carlos, and yeah. Also, they needed more. They needed a second shunter because Josh was being overwhelmed with the work. So they brought on Chelsea as well, and you know she did shunting work with Josh as well. So yeah. Also, after World War II, Cyril was actually left at the scrapyard to be scrapped, but in early 2011, Jackson wasn't being the Union Express services were being canceled for that day. This is when Jackson was overtaking the Union Express. Really had his turn. So Jackson was in the shed, and he wanted to, you know, get a stretch for his wheels. So he and his crew decided to, you know, go outside for a little bit, and then they got diverted to the scrapyard, and they found Cyril. They coupled him up, and they brought him to the works, you know, get repaired, and you know, get back to his former glory, you know, and yeah. Also in 2022, Janelle was built. The reason why she's built this early is because her building date was actually delayed by a lot. So yeah, just anyway, that's probably enough of the news division timeline for now. So yeah, on to our next section. God, I said a lot then. Anyways, on to our next section. Before the next century, I actually forgot to tell you all that Cyril was actually sent to the scrapyard after World War II. But he was eventually brought back to his division after. Cars beeping outside, just ignore it. He was brought back to the railway in the early 90s. So yeah, me and my friends in different poses. This entry talks about another cancelled Roblox game that I made back in 2021, I think. You can guess what the game is about based off the title. It's me and my friends in different random poses. That can range from brutally murdering people to, you know, just having fun, watching TV and other miscellaneous stuff. The game is cancelled and will never be coming back. Fun fact, on the previous Iceberg, it actually said that it did have the name of the game and said possible return under that. But that it's not coming back. I can reassure you it's not coming back. I have no plans on bringing it back at all. Yeah. What's the next entry? The first follower. If it isn't obvious based on the title of this entry, it talks about my first TikTok follower. Their name is Dax. That's their display name. Their username is your stepdad, and then Jojo numbers. Yeah, they're my first follower. Yeah, they're not active on the platform anymore. They reported to me my DM saying that. No, it wasn't
in my DMs, there's actually a comment in one of my earlier videos saying that there was a tribute to him, and like he said that he's actually moved on from that account and he made a new one. So yeah, he's no longer active on that account. I do not know what the name of the account is. So yeah, it's depressing that he's not on his account anymore. He's my first follower. Well, anyways, on to our next entry, and probably the next level of this iceberg. The number one beast. Basically, this entry talks about the Thomas and Friends movie that was going to be filmed on the game Lucian and Friends. I decided to stop working on it, but it's on hiatus right now. Basically, for the lore of it, basically Thomas is sent to the scrapyard to basically just deliver some, flatbeds of steel and stuff. When he's there, an evil spirit, which is King Godred's vengeful spirit, is out there to, he's out there, he spots Thomas to be his next host, and he climbs into his mouth and basically, just makes him into a rampaging monster. Thomas goes around killing multiple engines and people, but there's one way to counter this. There's a group that I made called the Night Watchers of Northwestern, or it's a group of a couple engines, those engines being Molly, Donald, Douglas, Doug, Emily, Henry, and James. They go around, patrolling the rails at night, looking for Thomas and whatnot. Towards the end of the movie, the engine, Thomas and the rest of Thomas and the group are basically the group is just getting, they're just getting chased by Thomas. And towards the end of the chase, basically their consist is 2 express coaches and a rake of fuel tankers. So basically, Emily's driver goes in and uncouples the coaches from the rest of the train, and Thomas is completely, and yeah, on to the next entry. The YBA Adventure Series. The YBA Adventure Series is a series that I made around in early 2022 to January 2022 to February or something. There are only 2 parts to this series. I'm not going to make any more because I'm already max level and max prestige in YBA, which is prestige 3 at level 50, if you don't know. For the first episode I used Gold Experience, and for the second one I used White Snake. That's basically it. On to the next entry. Jackson's original design. This entry talks about Jackson's original design. It's not really too far off from his current one, but one thing is his face is actually molded into the front of the locomotive. So yeah, and he doesn't have his messed up eye. And yeah, that's just basically it. On to our next entry. And yeah. The Basement of Nothingness. This entry talks about a Discord server that I made way long ago. It was in 2021 I made it, and only some of my friends are in it, and it's dead. So yeah, that's all. Just on to the next entry, and FNAF Bloxburg Restaurant. This entry talks about a FNAF restaurant that I made in Bloxburg. The map was based off of the restaurant from the original game, Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Yeah. I don't have any pictures of it. So yeah, on to our next entry. We are at the final tier or level of the iceberg, and we are starting off our first entry on this level with Alejandro's original name. So to answer of this question, Alejandro's original name was Carlos, but I changed it for no reason, but I eventually gave the name to Alejandro's little brother. So, yeah, on to our next entry. Troll Adopt and Raise a Baby Game. If you are subscribed or have seen the famous Roblox YouTuber Flamingo, formerly known as Albert Stuff, you can see that he made a Roblox video making a troll version of Adopt and Raise a Baby. Adopt and Raise a Baby is just like a whole, like, it's just like a roleplay game. There's multiple versions of it on Roblox. Newer versions are called Life in Paradise or some crap like that or whatnot. And anyways, like, I decided to take inspiration from that video and make my own. I made 2 videos of them. I made 2 videos of the game that I made on TikTok. The game is not released to the public yet, and it'll most likely never be, cause it was on a banned account. It was an account that got banned for stuff that I shall not say. But yeah, I'll show a picture of the game in 3, 2, 1, and there you go. On to our next entry. Heads up, this part of the iceberg is gonna get cringy as fuck, so yeah, you've been warned. Yeah, I'll put a timestamp on screen so you can skip it. Yeah, anyways, on to this thing. This dude is just a creator that I created back in early 2020. Yeah, he's so cringe that I don't even want to say his name. So like, yeah. I do like to honor him a bit. That's why I made him the most powerful OC out there. So, yeah. Anyways, on to our next entry. Sierra's original chapter. You can guess based off of the title what this entry is talking about. It's a character that I've called Sierra. Fun fact about her, she was originally going to be male, and their name would have been Mark. So yeah. If you don't know who Sierra is, she's a entry on the news division. She usually handles cold freight and whatnot. So yeah, she can also be used as a banker engine as well. My trips to Toronto. So if you check my YouTube About section, you can see that I'm from Canada. And like, probably almost like every Canadian has been to Toronto once in their life. Well, I've been there twice, and I've made multiple videos on them. I've made multiple videos about going to Toronto, you know. Yeah. Anyways, on to our probably final entry, I think. I don't know. Anyways, let's go. I've saved this one best till last because it's a little bit more personal to me, but here's my nationality. Well, my nationality, it's not a hard topic. It's very simple, actually. The answer to that question is that I am Indian, and my family originates from Calcutta, but my dad, he is from Guyana, which is like it's a country in in northern South America. It's above the equator. It touches the Atlantic Ocean. So, yeah. So I'm half Guyanese and Indian, so yeah. If I see any like Curry Muncher comments in the bottom, in the comments or whatnot, then I will actually block you. I'll block your ass, so yeah. Don't be racist, kids. Well, here we are at the end of the video and the end of this iceberg. This has been a fun and bizarre iceberg that I have made. It's my best one and my first completed one. Well, anyways, I gotta go. But before I do, I would like to credit AceofTrains for his amazing rendition of the Skarloey Railway theme and the others that I borrowed from. They'll be credited in the description. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Arrivederci, my brothers.